I realize I should probably be swapping lenses out, but, it's fine. So anyways, sorry I'm a little bit late. I know that the episode of the fifth episode of The Last of Us, Season 2 came out on Sunday. I'm filming this Monday night. I needed to kind of sit and think on this one for a little bit before I made a video. So I'm going to edit this up tonight and then put it up Tuesday morning. So if you're seeing this on a Tuesday morning, I filmed this about 12 hours sooner. So enjoy. Yeah, episode 5 of The Last of Us. We have about 2 episodes left till the season ends, I believe. I think there's only 7 of them. And we're still just kind of rolling with the reviews. As far as last week, that episode probably got the most hate out of any of the episodes released so far. Even the one where they killed Joel, which is, pretty surprising. And the more I sat on it, the more I was, I was kind of like, yeah. I can really see where the criticisms are coming from, and a lot of it was kind of criticisms that I talked about in the past, where Ellie's emotions are all wrong. Like I said, I felt like the sex scene was a little weird. Originally I thought that I'm gonna be a dad line. I thought that was a comedy line, but maybe it's not. I don't know the correct terms. To my knowledge, if a lesbian couple have a kid, I thought you just have 2 moms. So that's kind of why I took it as a comedy line. But again, I'm not getting into all that shit. I don't really care. So there was some hate there. What is all over this chair? But to me, the biggest sin of last week's episode was the fact that Ellie's emotions are all out of whack. Mostly, she's not as consumed with vengeance as she should be, and this being a little dating picnic between Dina and Ellie is not the route that I would go. However, there's things about the relationship that I like a lot more than the game. I feel like they blend and mesh better. But, again, I would like to see Ellie be a little more vicious and a little more, really wanting to kill everybody in Seattle. Which I don't feel like they have showcased a bunch leading up to this episode, where they did change a little bit of that. She does start to showcase that. But to me, too little too late, but still some good stuff in here, don't get me wrong. But there's negatives as well, so we'll get into all of it. But so far, my biggest criticism of the show, despite the fact that I didn't really want this story to begin with, I wanted them to change everything. Again, I still think they're doing it better than the game. But alas, my biggest issue so far is Ellie is not as filled with vengeance as I think that she should be. So, episode 5, this kicks off with the introduction of Spores, a general who leads the wolves. I can't remember her name. I think it's, what is her name? I don't remember her name. I don't know her name in the show, and I don't really remember her name in real life. The mom from Ted. She's in a bunch of other stuff, but that's how I remember her best. They talked about how they locked the basement because it's in the air and spores and I like all that. I like the introduction to spores. My curiosity is, what would be what's the point of introducing spores now? And why didn't you do it original? Why weren't they introduced in season 1? Why did we change that, and then why are we introducing it now? I'm not 100% sure, but it's fun. The introduction of spores was pretty good. And then you change the scene to Ellie and Dina in the theater. Dina is triangulating the location of the hospital. I could be wrong, but I don't feel like they talk about Nora a lot. At least thinking hey, Nora's at the hospital, unless I'm wrong, and completely missed that. But if they didn't, that's a pretty big criticism, because Ellie kind of rushes to the hospital without actually knowing Nora is there. But I'd imagine they mentioned it and heard it over the radio. I just didn't remember it. But I off the top of my head, I don't remember them talking about it, which is kind of weird. But I was kind of, I don't know. Maybe I just missed it. Again, the chemistry between Ellie and Dina is a lot better than it is in the game. However, it's just at a bad time because Ellie should be really wanting to rip everybody in Seattle in half. So the best way you could have fleshed out the chemistry between these two characters and show that they really love each other is if you had a lot more time with them before you stuck a golf club in Joel's neck. But hey, to each their own. So now they're trying to build chemistry between these two characters when the tone just doesn't fit the dynamic, unfortunately. And even though I think the dynamic is good, everybody's kind of shitting on their dynamic. I think it just doesn't fit where it should. Ellie should be far more preoccupied with murdering everybody in Seattle than dealing with relationships and stuff of that nature. So yeah, that's still a big issue for me. But anyways, Ellie decides to let Dina figure out the mapping stuff, and she's gonna go check out the rest of the theater, which is when she goes to the showing room and finds all the musical instruments and plays the If I Were to Lose You. And then I will note, which is a pretty good scene, is that when she starts to sing that song and plays the song that Joel once sang for her, which I'm guessing we will get that flashback to next episode, her face does shift as if she is reminded of the reason why she came all this way, which is, if they decide to really push that, I'm in, but they didn't. Instead, Dina and Ellie set forth to go out to the hospital together, which is a different scenario than in the game. Dina then mentions a backstory of how her family was killed, and says that if she did not kill the person who killed her family, she would hunt them down to the ends of the earth, kind of relating to Ellie in a sense, but giving Ellie the choice of saying, hey, if you want me to go back, I'll go back. There is no right answer here. And Ellie says, no, I want you to come with me. I have an issue here. I understand why they did it, kinda, because they can kind of bounce off each other in a way. But Dina's pregnant, and, throughout the whole episode, Ellie is constantly putting herself in harm's way of infected and things like that, so Dina doesn't have to do it because Dina's not immune. And Dina says, if I die, it's on me. However, they're protecting also the child of Dina, which should also be a concern. And in my head, Ellie, who should be infuriated with rage and revenge, should want Dina to go back, and so she can go by herself to the hospital, which is the route that I think they should have gone, so you can finally get Ellie murdering a lot of people. But that's not the route they go. Ellie says that she wants Dina to come with her, which kind of brings forth complications later. We'll get to that. They end up going to the hospital and finding themselves in a room full of stalkers. This was actually a really cool scene because they see the stalkers, and then they see 2 stalkers, and then 3 stalkers, and then they say, okay, we're gonna run the other direction, and then Dina turns, and now they're all popping out from around the corner, and there's 15 of them. This was shot so well. I will say, I think that this is probably one of the best shot episodes of the season so far. It looks really, it's shot really, really well. The show is shot very well. Shout out Craig Menzin for that. But still, I think that the show looks good. But the scene where all the stalkers pop out everywhere, really, really great looking and terrifying at the same time. So love that. So Ellie has Dina lock herself in an electrical cage, and then Ellie is running around, drawing them away, shooting at them before a bunch of stalkers jump on Ellie, and she's getting bit from everywhere, and then they're starting to rip into the cage that Dina's in. Dina runs out of the one magazine of ammo that she has in her handgun, which, it seems probably should have brought more ammo, but anyway, that's fine. And then a bunch of shooting starts, and all the stalkers get cleared out, and they start to run away as Jesse shows up. So this is when Jesse first shows up, which is, again, different from the game, to save Dina and Ellie. And they all run and escape the wolves before running into the park. Jesse says that they left immediately after Ellie and Dina did, the day after, and they snuck out. And Tommy is with them, but somewhere else, somewhere separate. So that means now the parties of Tommy, Jesse, Ellie, and Dina are all in Seattle at once. I'm hoping we can cut to Tommy. There should be a full episode of Tommy on a warpath. Like 100% there should be. I don't think it's going to be in this season, but next season, like, if you show that whole scene from Abby's perspective, I think I'll be disappointed. Because I just want to see one perspective of also Tommy tearing through people in Seattle. Because he should be just as vengeful as Ellie. So they're in the park, and then they see the iconic scene of the man getting gutted. A bunch of scars are around. And while they're watching the guy get gutted, an arrow flies in and hits Dina in the leg, and Ellie tells Jesse to grab Dina and run. And Ellie draws the scars away, hides in a tree. The scars stop looking for her, and then she turns back to see the hospital. And instead of rendezvousing with Dina and Jesse, decides to beeline it to the hospital. So this is where the conflict starts to inch itself a little closer. Ellie wanting to beeline it for the hospital makes sense. That's what she should want to do. That's what her character should want to do in that moment. However, it's a strange shift to switch it then, because I guess, like, while she was playing the guitar, her face switched, and that's kind of signifies the moment of, okay, revenge is the most important thing to me right now. But she also allows Dina to come with her, meaning she wants to protect her, but not really. So, I don't know. It seems like the motivations are kind of all messed up here. And, like, the correct motivation that she should have is full revenge. Full Dina stays out of it, because she would just get in the way. Maybe she feels like Jesse taking Dina away is her final chance to get to the hospital by herself without anybody getting in the way. However, she could have just sent Dina home to begin with and went about this by herself regardless. So that all doesn't really make sense for me. So then after that, you cut to Nora helping somebody in the hospital, and then you get the really great scene, of Ellie and Nora in the hospital janitor's closet room area. I thought that the scene was acted well, was a good portrayal, an adaptation of the scene. You get the chase, Nora chasing and Ellie chasing Dina, or chasing Nora through the hallways, and all the guards shooting at them, and then they end up in the basement, where you get the spores, and then you see all the soldiers that they talked about earlier in the episode. Great tie-in. I like all of that. I think the look of the spores looks really cool. And then you get the scene. The final scene is the final scene is the scene where Ellie kills Nora. They were missing the part where Ellie did say that I could make it quicker, I can make it so much worse. But I thought Bella Ramsey's acting here, kind of psychopathic a little bit, in her portrayal of it. But I thought that her acting, full of rage and determination and vengeance here this is the correct way that it should be showcased throughout. Like, she should be solely motivated, and it's not the right emotions that, these are the right emotions she should feel, but we're supposed to, I don't know, it's hard because we want to root for Ellie to kill all these people, but we know, she's gonna have to do some really bad things, and that's almost why you're like, oh no, Ellie, But as an audience, these people killed Joel, so we relate to this. But the motivations of this revenge story should be Ellie is overcome with rage, and she's forced to do despicable things, like beat on a dying woman with a lead pipe. And then the scene cuts, and Ellie's laying in her bed back in Jackson a few years earlier, and Joel walks in, which is the reminder of why she's doing this. So my guess is next episode will be the birthday episode where they do the flashback where they go to the museum, and then my guess is they'll get back and Joel will play the guitar and play If I Ever Lose You. And then at the end of the episode, my guess is Ellie will return to the theater where she will be covered in blood. And have the locations of Abby and... Does she kill him? Will she kill Mel and what's his face in episode 7? I don't know. That seems pretty quick. Maybe. But it seems like season 3 will be all about Abby, which not the correct way to go about it. That's actually a really bad idea. So yeah. Mixed bag with this one, I would say. We started getting there at the end. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm leaning more to negative or positive with this one. There's some negative things, and then there's some good things, but the good things only come from things that don't really make sense. And I think that's my problem with it. I think it's shot well. I think the action is okay. I still wanted to see, Ellie kind of fueled by revenge and tearing through Seattle, which she has yet to do. But I thought that the Nora scene was great. That's probably the best scene in the episode. The fight between her and Nora. I felt like it was probably a little bit rushed the way that we got there, but we got there. So yeah. Last of Us Season 2, Episode 5. Let me know what you thought of it. I am on the fence. I'm going to try and watch some reviews and check on the end. I haven't really watched any opinions on this thus far. I would like to see what other opinions are. But my original opinion is I'm on the fence. So yeah, let me know what you think. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace, love, adios, and bye-bye.